Good evening, everyone. I am calling the St. Louis County Council meeting to order Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. The hour is 6:30 p.m. Would you stand as the color guard advances?
Left, right.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
I
pledge
pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask that everyone please remain standing in the chamber, a moment of silence to remember and honor United States service members who've lost their lives in service during the evacuation efforts in Afghanistan.
Marine Sergeant Yohani Rosario Pichardo, 25. Marine Sergeant Nicole L. E., 23. Marine Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover, 31. Marine Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22. Marine Corporal Dagan W. Page, 23. Marine Corporal Humberto A. Sanchez, 22. Marine Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza, 20. Marine Lance Corporal Riley J. McCullum, 20. Marine Lance Corporal Dylan R. Marola, 20. Marine Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nakui, 20. Navy Corpsman Maxton W. Soviak, 22. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan C. Knaus, 23. Marine Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmitz, 20, St. Charles, Missouri.
Right, right. Forward, walk.
Thank you all. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Days.
Here.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Present.
Diane, is your mic on?
Can you hear me?
Her mic is on.
Can you hear me, Diane?
Councilmember Dunaway.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Present.
Councilmember Fitch.
Here.
Councilmember Webb.
Present.
Councilmember Clancy.
Here.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Harder.
Present.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The voting order this evening is voting letter B, Carter, Tracus, Clancy, Webb, Fitch, Dunaway, and Days. Is there a motion to approve the journal of the meeting of August 10th, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed, no. Motion carries. The August 10, 2021 journal is approved. The August 17th and 24th journals have not been finalized yet. We have no bid openings this evening, so we will move to communications.
Madam Chair, we have no tax compromises, zoning matters, or road and bridge matters this evening, so we will move to other communications. Under other communications, item number 1.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. The same motion will apply to item number 2, and that will be the order.
Item number 3, 4th District.
Receive, file, and the change of order be approved as requested. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries.
Sorry, Madam Chair. Item number 4, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the change of owner be approved as requested.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
Item number 5, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor's office be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 6.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion applies through item number 8, and that will be the order.
One moment, Madam Chair. Item number 9, 2nd District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 10, 7th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion through item number 11.
So ordered.
Item number 12, 2nd District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion for item number 13.
So ordered.
Item number 14, 1st District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion will apply to item number 15, and that will be the order.
Item number 16.
Please drop from the order of business, and that will be the order.
Item number 17.
Receive, file, hold on the order of business, and refer to the council as a committee of the whole, and that will be the order.
Item number 18.
Receive, file, and the appointments be approved as recommended. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
Moving to add-ons, Madam Chair. Item number 1, 1st District.
Receive and file, and that will be the order.
Item number 2, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 3, 7th District.
This legislation, or ask for legislation, deals with whistleblower protection for county employees. I'd like to receive and file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation tied to the legislation that Councilwoman Days has already being worked on.
So ordered.
Item number 4.
Receive, file, hold on the order of business, and refer to the council as a committee of the whole, and that will be the order.
Item number 5.
Receive and file, and that will be the order. Moving on to public forum. Madam Clerk, how many do we have this evening?
Madam Chair, we have 47 speakers this evening.
All right.
As always, when your name is called, come to the podium, give us your name and your zip code for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to give their position and to make their statements. Please remember that when you are talking to the council members, not the audience. So direct your comments to us so we'll be able to hear clearly what you're saying, okay? Thank you. So with that, please call the first person.
First speaker is Zena Hackworth, followed by Rally Runner.
Zena Hackworth, 63129. Thank you, Madam Chair. To the council members who still uphold and protect the United States Constitution and understand that our Constitution is the law of the land, thank you for honoring your oath. Madam Chair, this building belongs to the citizens and taxpayers of St. Louis County. Denying us access without due process is unconstitutional. Many, if not most of your constituents have primary care physicians and other healthcare providers. These professionals are familiar with our individual healthcare needs. They are the ones who are best equipped to determine whether or not their patients can or should wear a mask. There is nothing in the Constitution that affords this council or any other government body the right or the ability to make healthcare decisions for any citizen without their consent. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The words sincerely held religious beliefs is an exception in Kelly Dunaway's bill. Who determines if someone has a sincerely held religious belief? Madam Chair, mask and vaccine recommendations are welcomed, but unconstitutional mandates are not. Kelly Dunaway, last week you said to, Kelly Dunaway, every American in this country has a First Amendment right to free speech. You told us that disagree with you to shut up, mask up, and suck it up. You need to listen up when it comes to protecting our God-given rights, our freedoms, our liberties, our healthcare decisions. We will not be silent. We will not cower in fear. We will not go away. We will not bend. We will not break, and we will not compromise. And when it comes to unconstitutional ordinances, we will not comply. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right.
Next speaker is Rally Runner, followed by Julie Bernstein.
Sir, you have to go on the other side, please, and face us.
Hello, my name is Rally Runner. I'm the
Sir.
campaign manager for Wesley Smith for Washington.
You have to come on that side. Thank you.
It is not these people I want to address. I want to address you all.
Sir,
Yes.
we can't hear you. You have to speak into the microphone and
Hello.
and face us, please. Please. Thank you.
I have a deep love for St. Louis and this country. I care. I'm campaign manager for Wesley Smith for Washington, running for 2nd District of Congress. Wesley cares. He is going to fight for you, actually fight for you, and come through with everything that you guys want, because we're here to fight for the people. We will give back and we will show that we actually care. We live in America, freedom of choice. We fought for our freedom. We are against the mask mandate. We will not be forced to breathe in bacteria all day. Wesley and I are filing a cease and desist order in all public school districts that we can. And if these school districts do not comply, we will sue them all. I have done the rally run up at Busch Stadium for 10 years. Ultimately, I do it for God. God has revealed a lot to me. I do the rally run, I give my heart and soul to make a positive impact. Amazing things have happened. Let's make a statement. Follow Wesley's shout. Let's show this city that we mean business. Every home Cardinals game until the season is 5K run or walk, starting at the start of the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll make a statement while having fun. No more masks. We want a real freedom. And let's elect Wesley Smith to 2nd District Congress. He will run with us. Wesley's daughter, Maya, has asthma, very bad asthma, and was on her deathbed. And Wesley was told that she will be forced to wear a mask at school. If the Wolf of Washington, that's who Wesley Smith is. Look up the Wolf of Washington, Wesley Smith for Washington. We also support
Madam
the
Chair, that's
Facebook
3
page,
minutes.
Recall Sam Page. Look up Recall Sam Page. I love you all, and God bless America.
Next speaker is Julie Bernstein, followed by Elizabeth Cohen.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if you can give me a moment, they're saying that the mic, they can't hear through that mic, so I want to test it real quick.
This one right here in the front? Okay. And is Julie Bernstein here? Julie? Okay.
Testing. Testing,
We're trying to fix the microphone. Just 1 second. Okay.
testing.
I wonder if he pulled it out of the base or something.
Is it plugged in? Can you see?
The light's on.
Oh. Then you can hear it. They said they can hear now. They said, okay.
Can hear me now?
Councilwoman Dunaway, can you hear through this microphone?
I can, yes.
Clancy,
In the room here?
can you hear?
The room's
Oh,
not
the
hearing.
room is. Okay.
The room is not hearing. There.
Okay, they have to. Okay, thank you. So you have to get close to it so that you can be heard. So
All right.
this is Julie.
Yeah,
Thank
Julie,
you.
63088, zip code, sorry. Want to know why, oh, sorry, hold on. I stand before you all today in this chamber for a very important reason. It's a fight for our freedoms, liberty, and our souls. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. You claim people are getting sick and end up in the hospital. You claim anyone who doesn't use a mask and refuse to vax are overcrowding the COVID wards. Take a look at me. What do you notice? What do you notice? Sorry, what do you notice? No mask. No mask. You claim, yeah, what, okay. Wait, hold on a second. No, okay. Right, there is no, and also there's no COVID or no Delta virus in me. What else do you notice besides that? Okay, I've gone out every day since spring without a mask and no vax, and never once have I got cobalt Delta and Delta variants. Want to know why I never catch the virus? I have a very strong immunity and, and are safe from the virus because I let my body immunity system work the way it should. I don't put on a dirty mask that gives me mildew and mold from humidity, moisture, and breathe in carbon dioxide poisoning. I don't take an experimental mRNA gene therapy that gives me spike proteins that attack my body and then attack other people's bodies. I don't put my trust in a communist news network and an untrustworthy government. I put my faith in Christ as my savior and my protector against the virus. There's no need to force the healthy to mask up and take an mRNA shot that changes your DNA, that screws up your body. You see more information from Dr. Robert Morleen about that. He'll tell you why. He's the creator, by the way. Forcing healthy to put on a mask and take deadly experimental drugs is against crimes against humanity. You say it's just a little mask. It's just a little vax. It's just a little passport. It's just a little biochip. It's just a little commitment to giving your soul to the Antichrist. It's just a little walk to the covert death camps. As a Jew, who happens to believe in Christ as my savior, I'm offended in what direction this is heading for. And this is how Hitler took Nazi Germany into total Nazi regime. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat itself. Kelly Dunaway, you were sworn in on Dr. Seuss' book for little kids because you were too ashamed of our God and our God-given rights and our Constitution. And for this very reason, you need to resign. Rita Day, Senator Webbs, Lisa Challenge, and Sam Page, you're cowards. You need to resign for selling out greed and power and money, selling us out. You took an oath to defend the Constitution and our freedoms, and you will. You are failing. Since you are refusing to fulfill those duties and obligations, you have no place in these chairs above the chambers. You can threaten us with fines and arrests for
Madam
not.
Chair, that's 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you,
Anyway,
Julie.
remember your mercy and your hands to God have mercy.
Next speaker is Elizabeth Cohen, followed by Renee Artman.
Elizabeth Cohen, 63005. Do I understand correctly that now you're trying to declare a state of emergency in St. Louis County as well as an ordinance for a mask mandate? Based on what? The dropping cases? According to St. Louis Pandemic Task Force today, cases are down 14% from last Tuesday. And possible jail time for not complying? Wouldn't that add more people to the jail where you're already short on guards? I'm wondering who you will let out to make room for all the criminals who won't wear their masks. Drug dealers, violent criminals, drunk drivers, rapists. I guess as long as they wear a mask, then it would be okay. This is all over a virus that has over a 99% survival rate that there is a vaccine for. Multiple studies show no association between mask use or mandates and reduced COVID-19 spread in the United States. There are literally no randomized studies that show masks working, but there are studies that have shown the damage masks can do to the wearer. It raises carbon dioxide blood levels, causing dimmed sight, reduced hearing, drowsiness, dizziness, confusion, headache, shortness of breath, muscle tremors, increased heart rate, and increased blood pressure. Councilwoman Dunaway, I could stand here and cry for my son as well. My heart breaks every day for the children who are suffering in mass during school. My heart breaks because no one cares about the harm it's doing to these kids. No one cares about the kids who feel isolated. No one cares about the kids who turn to drugs, drinking, and worst case, suicide to dull their pain. Wearing a mask for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week is slowly killing my son. No one cares about his life, only COVID lives, even though 0 kids under 17 have died from COVID in St. Louis County. Can you please take 1 minute to imagine how you would feel if we were fighting to make masks illegal? Fighting to make it illegal for you to do what you know is best for your child or yourself because you'd face the possibility of jail time. Now imagine if we actually had the power to do that. Someone who doesn't know you or your children making ordinances that affect your ability to parent your children and live your life as you see fit. If you can imagine that, then you will have some understanding of how it feels to a large portion of St. Louis County to have you trying to push mask mandates through week after week. Why do I have to sacrifice my son's well-being for the well-being of your children? Do you realize that is what you're asking of me to do? He masked all last year to protect his teachers despite what it did to him. And now he's expected to mask for everyone who can't get vaccinated or who is at risk. When is it his turn for others to care about his life, to sacrifice for him? When are we going to have a St. Louis County health campaign? Why weren't we educating people and incentivizing exercise and proper nutrition? It can help ward off several comorbidities like obesity and heart disease and even diabetes. Comorbidities are associated with the vast majority of deaths from COVID. If you really cared about the people of St. Louis County, this is what you would focus on at this point. And one more thing, mask wearing has been a prevalent trend in Asia, China specifically, for years. And that obviously didn't stop the virus from spreading or originating there. Thank you.
Next speaker, Renee Artman, followed by Laura Riley.
Renee Artman, 63026. Long ago, Arabs discovered that forcing people to cover their nose and mouths broke the people's will and their individuality. Modern psychology explains, without a face, we don't exist as individual beings. He who does not know this history is certainly condemned to repeat it. Masking must be a free choice. Children need to see faces to grow and develop. The face is one of the most important tools that we have for learning and teaching. Mandating what must be worn on your face or injected into one's body to be allowed the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness has no place in a free society. For those who don't think fighting against a vaccine and a mask freedom is a big deal, that is the same freedom as the right to bear arms, the right to worship God, and the right to speak freely. If you do not stand up for one freedom, sooner or later, there won't be any more. If you have to be persuaded, reminded, pressured, lied to, given awards, covered, bullied, social slammed, guilt-tripped, threatened, punished, and criminalized, if all of this is considered necessary to gain your compliance, you can be absolutely certain that what is being promoted is not in your best interest. One note to Councilwoman Clancy and Dunaway. Last Friday, you did a victory saying around that mothers finally passed the mask mandate. This mother of 2 daughters, granddaughters, 2 grandsons, and Thursday, a granddaughter, resent your implication that if we do not agree with you, we are incapable of knowing what is best for our children and grandchildren. How dare you? And at the end of the vote, Ms. Dunaway, your performance had more theatrical drama than the production of Hamilton.
Next speaker is Laura Riley, followed by Josh Shear.
Hello. My name is Laura Riley, and I'm from the district from 63138. I'm going to read to you in the Constitution of Missouri, sections 1, 2, and 3 of the Missouri State Constitution, which you all are. You're doing unconstitutional stuff, personally. You really are. Section 1, source of political power, origin, basis, and aim of government. That all political power is vested in and derived from the people. That all government of right or originates from the people. Is founded upon their will only and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Section 2, promotion of general welfare, natural rights of person, equality under the law, purpose of government. Get this, purpose of government. That all constitutional government is intended to promote the general welfare of the people. That all persons have a natural right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and in the enjoyment of the gains of their own industry. That all persons are created equal and are entitled to equal rights and opportunity under the law. That to give security to these things is the principal office of government. And that when government does not confer this security, it fails to the chief design. Section 3, powers of the people over internal affairs, constitution, and form of government. That the people of this state have the inherent, sole, and exclusive right to regulate the internal government and policies, police thereof, and to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. This is a form of government overreach. I don't know what the problem is that you all cannot stay in your lane. I don't understand. You have enough to do without going into our personal lives. You took an oath for the Constitution to do what the Constitution told you to do, but you're not doing it. And that goes for the government in Washington, D.C. as well. And you wonder why people don't like you. Don't wonder.
Madam
Do not
Chair,
wonder.
Madam Chair, that's 3
When
minutes.
we need you, we will ask you.
Thank you, Ms. Riley.
Next speaker is Josh Shear, followed by Haley Walton.
Josh Share, 63011. First, Ms. Days and Ms. Webb. Every week I hear the following statements from you. I will do what is best for my constituents. That's great. However, your decisions impact the entire county, so please take that into consideration as well. Whenever you talk about mask or vaccine policy, I always hear the word collaboration. The founding fathers designed our system of government to slow the decision-making process, even halting it completely. So please do not get discouraged if the council cannot come to mutual agreement. The system was designed that way. To that point, there is no middle ground when it comes to masks and vaccines. You either believe people have the freedom to choose what is best for them, or you don't. Number 3, a few questions I'm sure we all have. Every time you collaborate with the evils of Clancy, Dunaway, and Page, what do you have to give up? What do you get in return? Did you sell out your constituents in search of fundraising donors? Maybe a few questions that the media can ask. Second, I'd like to address the audience and those out in YouTube land. If a mask ordinance passes, we must use their own words against them. My family and I have yet to wear a mask this entire time, and I'll tell you how to do it. Section 3 states, nothing in this ordinance shall be construed as requiring the following persons to wear face coverings. Section 3.2, persons with health conditions that prohibit wearing a face covering or for whom wearing a face covering would be contrary to their health or safety because of a medical condition. Walk into any business that requires a mask and say, I have a medical exemption. If they ask what it is or to show proof, tell them it's a violation of the American Disabilities Act to even ask about my disability, and the first offense is a $75,000 fine. You may still be asked to leave, which is okay. However, this has worked for my family 99% of the time. In fact, I have threatened to sue one local business over this, and their attorneys backed down. Section 3.3 literally states persons who have trouble breathing are exempt from wearing a mask. Not sure about you all, but I certainly fall into that category. If this ordinance passes, print it out, highlight these sections, and take it everywhere you go. Trust me, it's so empowering to stand up for your right to breathe freely. I also want to address the police officers, medical personnel, teachers, business owners, workers, anyone being threatened to cover their face and take an injection they don't want. You have more power than you think. You make the world turn, not these people. So let's turn the tables. There has never been a better time to start a new school, medical practice, or business free from the bureaucracy and tyranny thrust upon us. There is a huge market for freedom-loving institutions. Parents are pulling their kids from public schools in record numbers. Independent doctors and even holistic veterinarians can't keep up with the demand. I hope everyone walks away from these old, bureaucratic, tyrannical institutions
Madam
and
Chair,
let
that's
them
3
burn.
minutes.
It will be tough at first, but we will survive. We'll find a way. I do not comply, do not consent, and I'll see you all next week, mask free.
Next speaker, Haley Walton, followed by William Hermanson.
Haley 63043. When I first watched y'all vote on the mask resolution, I was furious, but then when I found out that the mask resolution isn't enforceable and basically doesn't mean anything, I was relieved. And for once, I thank the mainstream media for reporting correctly on that. So it's not a win, a pointless win maybe at that. Days and Webb, thank you for listening to us when we speak and being respectful of us, even though we may not agree on everything. If we had more Democrats like you, we would all get along. Dunaway and Clancy, your lack of physical representation is disturbing. You'd like to see us all vaccinated and masked against our will to live, eat, breathe in your county, and yet you don't believe in masking and vaccinating enough to physically be present at these meetings. You both have been very snide and condescending when speaking about and to the people on the other side of the aisle. It's a gross display and a complete disrespect to a portion of your constituents. So say what you will about your opposing councilmen and women, but they have been more respectful to the people who have opposing viewpoints. Your vitriol is noticed and it's gross. Dunaway, your facial expressions during these meetings and when you speak say a million words that you don't need to. We know that you hate everyone who disagrees with you, which is a large part of the people you are supposed to represent, like my county or like my city of Maryland Heights. You have very little respect for anyone in this county. Bring the same bill to vote week after week because you can't get your way, and you still didn't get your way because your mask resolution is useless, as both you and Clancy and Dunaway. Days and Webb, I'm sorry, I said that part already. Councilman Fitch, Harder, and Tracus, you three are true patriots and understand what freedom means. I thank the three of you for speaking up and not letting Dunaway and Clancy steamroll these meetings. Sam Page, you are not the dictator you believe yourself to be. I genuinely hope you're recalled. Your attempts to turn this forum into a race war are unacceptable. Comparisons to the Holocaust do not lessen the atrocities that happened in the 1930s and 40s. They are attempting to stop the atrocities that are about to happen here. The Holocaust did not begin with cattle cars and gas chambers, Mr. Page. It began with ostracizing, segregating, and turning a group of people into second-class citizens who were unable to move, eat, or breathe on their own in their own community without at will. Exactly what do you think you're attempting to do here in St. Louis County, Mr. Page? If we lose on vaccines, we will completely lose the sovereignty over our own bodies. There is no such thing as freedom if we are not free to determine what is and is not injected into us. You all are already lacking county workers as it is, and you all want to try to force them into getting the vaccine.
Madam Chair, that's 3 minutes.
In order to work. Do you realize how many you will lose?
Thank you, Ms. Walton.
speaker is William Hermanson, followed by Wendy Melrose.
William Hermanson, 63011. Councilwoman Webb keeps urging compromise. There's a problem with what she intends. A compromise only works if each party desires the same end. For example, if she wants to go to California and I want to go to New York, both going to South Dakota is not a reasonable compromise. You propose saving the citizenry by trampling all over their personal liberties. That is illegal, unjust, and against the Constitution. You think that since you have the power, you can simply choose a solution that excludes the destination of liberty while you tend toward tyranny. There can be no compromise of rights. On another note, I want to speak to 4 of you who seem to think even contemplating violating our rights is okay. You do realize that you have been given facts about people being harmed and dying from the so-called remedies you propose. You are personally on notice. If you think you personally can suffer no consequences from being involved in murder as a result of your actions, I think you better get some legal advice. Actions have consequences. Punishment under 18 U.S.C. 241, if 2 or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, if death results, can be imprisonment for any term of years or for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. That's from the Civil Rights Act, by the way. If you violate your oath of office to protect citizens' rights, then you become acting personally rather than as an official. A few years ago, the critical infrastructure of federal elections was promoted to the level that, if attacked by a foreign power, would be an act of war. There is incontrovertible evidence and presented in testimony under oath that the Chinese Communist Party and others, in an act of war, attacked our country through our election system in 2020. In Missouri, some 59,000 votes were flipped between candidates. Over 3,100 counties across this nation were attacked. In wartime, it is a military tribunal that acts upon crimes, not civil courts. Politicians, judges, tech company executives, pharmaceutical companies, managers, and government agency staff who knowingly commit crimes lose any protection of legal liability umbrellas and become personally liable. Are you sure you want to take the chance that I am right and that you just do not understand it yet? I beg you, for your sakes and ours, to stop this suggested tyranny immediately and move on to protect our citizens from a corrupt, infiltrated government and give us transparent elections free from fraud and interference. Then we all can move toward
Madam Chair,
rebuilding
that's
our
3
beloved
minutes.
republic. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Wendy Melrose, followed by Karen Smith.
Hi, I'm from 63123 Tracas District. This message is for Christians, aka Christ followers. For those who do not claim Jesus as your Lord and Savior, this message does not apply. However, you will be held accountable to the Creator regardless of your choice to acknowledge Him. I want to bring to your attention the book, Killing Kryptonite by John Bevere, specifically the chapter A Knock Off Jesus. The chapter shares specifics on how after the Israelites were delivered out of Egypt, the Lord planned on having them all be royal priests, where He would come down and speak to them all. But instead, they only wanted God to speak to them through Moses. So the Lord called Moses to the top of Mount Sinai for 40 days. And while gone, the Israelites grew restless, not knowing what has happened to Moses since he had been gone so long. So they commissioned Aaron to build the golden calf. They created a knockoff Yahweh, actually called the golden calf Yahweh, in order to get what they wanted and when they wanted it. They even sacrificed and feasted to the idol they created. During the feast, the Lord told Moses to quickly go down because the Israelites corrupted themselves and turned away from the home He commended them to live. Sorry. What's going on? First, the message The people had desires of what they wanted to fulfill, and they needed a man of God to accommodate them. Second, Aaron had a leadership gift on his life, and his gift attracts people, whether or not the leader is obeying God or not. It happens today. So, Moses says, all of you who are on the Lord's side, come here and join me. Exodus 32:25-26. They as well as we don't take sides with the Lord by simply professing his name and singing songs to him. He chose his side by choosing to live living according to what he declares. In present time, we have created a Jesus who will give us whatever our misled passions desire. Are we acknowledging that he shed his blood for us, saved and delivered us from the world? Are we singing songs to him that he is heaven available to us? But in truth, our Jesus is not the actual Jesus seated on the right hand of the Father. Have we created a knockoff Jesus? Are numerous people of the church deceived as the Israelites were who came out of Egypt? It is easy in the Western world to say you believe in Jesus. Much of the West, however, is jaded against Christianity because there is a difference between Christians and the world. Christians proclaim the name of Jesus and they say they honor God while living a simple life that he clearly disapproves of. And as Moses declared when he was called Israel to account, whoever's on the Lord's side, come to me. It's time for true Christians to rise up and call their brothers and sisters to come to the truth. This also means honoring your Father God by standing up to those who bully, coerce, and manipulate and create fear in you to get you to vote the way they want. By choosing to allow this, you have replaced your true Savior in Yahweh with a false calf, an idol of self, politics, and position. You will have to answer
Madam
to your
Chair,
votes
that's 3 minutes.
and the position of your Creator God.
Thank you, Ms. Melrose.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Karen Smith, followed by Steve Casey.
Hello again. Karen Smith, zip code 63119. A lot of people are wondering, trying to make sense of what's going on because we know that there's a lawsuit going on with Sam Page and our Attorney General for the state of Missouri. We also know that there are lawsuits that our Attorney General has filed against school districts in Kansas City and also in Columbia, and they're looking at St. Louis. So it's confusing why, for the sake of compromise, that you would want to stand behind something that's embroiled in litigation. It doesn't make sense. It also doesn't make sense, really, that you're still pursuing a mask mandate when we've already been here so many times, so many people. You've had respiratory therapists, you've had doctors, you've had nurses, you've had teachers, you've had information, you've been given facts, you've been given all kinds of materials, you even got a copy of the Constitution last week. And we're still in the same place. Is it legal? It's not legal, but you're going to continue to do that. So it's like, wow, I don't know. I have a lot of friends that can't be here. I'm here representing people that can't be here, and my children and my grandchildren. And it's like, well, it just doesn't make sense. So what is the end game? That's what I'm interested in. It's not about a mask because you all know that masks don't work. We haven't gotten any data for a year and a half. We have not gotten any data about masks working, but we have given you data about the fact that they don't. If the Attorney General last week told us that he could get data, and this week they said the cases have gone down again in St. Louis County. Well, last week, in that last week period, they went down 22%. In the city where they are wearing masks, they went up. So why do we want cases to go up? Are we heading toward a lockdown again? Is that what you want? I have a small business in Webster Groves, and people don't go shopping when they have masks on, okay? So how does that work? Well, maybe it's a different kind of sense. Maybe it's the kind of sense that go with dollars. Now, we all know that Sam Page's company, his anesthesiology practice, got, I can't remember, was it 3.4 or $4.3 million in CARES money. My little business, I got zero. I don't have any employees. I got zero. And a lot of people are struggling. So while there is this big Christmas bonus for Mr. Page, there were people
tons of people in St. Louis who had no jobs, and they had no money for Christmas. So I'm wondering, is there money? Is that what this is about? Because the schools are getting money from the federal government to make kids wear masks. You know that, right? $50 billion is what our government has offered schools to mask up and follow the protocol
Madam Chair,
when
that's
it's illegal. My school district, $2.1 million. So I'm thinking that there's got to be some money involved. And I think that you need to come forth and tell us what's going on and what the end game is. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Next speaker, Steve Casey, followed by Jason Moore.
I'm grateful to be able to air my views in this forum tonight, given what's going on in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and France. And anyway, this lab-produced gain-of-function virus cannot be vaccinated away any more than the flu virus with its vaccines. Are we to believe the only way out of this COVID era is by submitting to Big Pharma's gene-altering vaccines and then boosters every 6 to 9 months in perpetuity? Just a couple of notes about Pfizer's lack of integrity throughout the world. Pfizer is requiring Latin and South American countries, as well as African countries, to put up billions of dollars in collateral in order to get on a list for their gene-altering vaccines. Some of that collateral even includes these countries' military bases, and also requiring contracts that Pfizer not be held responsible for adverse effects, and any adverse effects could not be published for 10 years. Remdesivir is currently the only FDA-approved treatment for COVID-19 at $3,200 a regimen, and is widely observed to produce multiple organ failures, particularly kidney and liver damage, because it is so toxic, necessitating for longer stays in hospitals and possible need for a $30,000 pop ventilator treatment. Now, Dr. Zelenko and other frontline doctors have treated many heads of state of foreign countries, as well as thousands of patients worldwide that did not require hospitalization. With his protocols that include vitamins, minerals, and natural herbs as part of his regimen to treat a person early when symptoms begin to evidence themselves, as opposed to the conventional medical establishments suggesting to do nothing until you're really sick, then come to the hospital. So please do take the time to Google American frontline doctors. And also, if anyone really wants to get an idea of what's going on, there's an excellent video called Monopoly, Follow the Money, The Great Reset. And it's on BitChute. Now BitChute does have some off-the-wall stuff on it, but it is a forum
Chair,
for
that's
people.
3 minutes.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much, Mr. Casey.
Next speaker is Jason Moore, followed by Megan Hagan.
All right, Jason Moore, 63021. August 27th, the world-renowned incident with Dr. Khan. First off, I was kind of disappointed that he was still employed as of last Friday. Why was he here? There was also the incident with the, I guess, the COVID positive St. Louis City resident that was here. That was over a month ago now, I do believe. It's August 31st. Mr. Page, Ms. Dunaway, why are you not here? Councilman Fitch, do us all a favor. Slide over just one more. It would be far better. So I cannot wax eloquent. I cannot be Shakespearean in a Shakespearean sonnet of any sort to persuade anybody, aside to just essentially, I can't compete with anybody else that's already spoken. So I'll just say a few things, waste time every week. I would just like to maybe address the way policy is made. And it just came to me actually just this morning. Something, maybe a morning metric, something like that. When you roll over in bed, you look at the day ahead of you and you decide, what do I have to do? Do I have to go to work? I want to go to the store because I got to pick up a steak or some hot dogs. I want to go to see a buddy. Or I just want to go watch Oprah Winfrey. Whatever. But I am able to do all of those things right now because there's no mask mandate. There's technically no vaccination mandate, right? So then what if I replace that independent thought and say, what is the government going to allow me to do today when I roll out of bed? Am I allowed to go to the store without a mask? We just pulled out of that just a few months ago. Fortunately, I didn't comply with that either, and I will not comply again if this winds up becoming law. I just flat out refuse to. That is my right. So if we reset the way we think as legislators, as our government, and putting instead of just what we think the people ought to do, instead think about how are they going to roll out of bed and in any given morning, and what are the first questions what are they going to present to themselves? They look out the window. I've got the whole day in front of me. I got anything I want to do. Or do I have to ask permission from my government for the allowance to do something? So I appreciate I just appreciate you listening again, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. You guys take care.
Next speaker is Megan Hagan, followed by Dorothy Steele.
Council members, Madam Chair, my name is Megan Hagan, 63011. This is from Ms. Dunaway. Last week you spoke of sending your 7 and 9-year-old back to school unprotected against COVID, as according to you, cases and severity rise in our area. You claim that you did so with regret and had no choice. You complained about having to juggle the responsibility of your children's education while managing multiple jobs. You spoke of the light at the end of the tunnel as summer had approached and masks became a thing of the past and vaccines emerged. In the very next sentence, you say that cases have risen, ICU beds are disappearing, and people are dying. You claim the medical community is unanimously supportive of masks and vaccines. Is that why so many healthcare workers are quitting or getting fired over vaccine mandates? You claim more children are now being hospitalized or dying, yet we know the most recent data shows that from 5/21/2020 to 8/12/2021, only 0.9% of child COVID cases resulted in hospitalization and 0.01% of child cases resulted in death. Yet you say that unprotected and unvaccinated, we sent them back, reliant on masks, at least in the schools, a mandate currently under attack. You cry that parents like you, desperate to protect your children's lives and futures, also battle with your own needs, once again focus on your own careers, your own lives, your own passions, and that your children need to do the same in school where they belong. If the children don't like it, they suck it up and do it anyway. You called for us to shut up, mask up, and set a better example of kindness and caring for our community. Only you, Ms. Dunaway, could tell people to shut up and show kindness in the same sentence. We have had to choose to send our kids back at any cost, you said. No, Ms. Dunaway, you made the choice to send your children back to school, and you did so at their peril according to your beliefs. I would offer that this is because your comfort, happiness, and your career is more important to you than your children's comfort, happiness, and safety. You see, I too faced that same dilemma, just the opposite concern. My son was enrolled to start preschool in Parkway in the fall of 2019, and he would not have had to wear a mask, but his teachers would have, and some of the other students would have. So I took to the research, I read the journal articles, the study, the expert testimony, and came to the conclusion that the risks outweighed the benefits, and I pulled my son from school. My entire family has changed to accommodate this decision. My husband now has to work 2 jobs, and I have to stay home and homeschool my son, which is the greatest gift I ever could have given him. But just like that, we have to make sacrifices for what we believe in. Maybe you and your constituents should make those same decisions. If you think it's too dangerous to send your child to school without everyone wearing a mask, pull your child out and let the rest of us live our lives. I am tired of this same argument every single week, and I thought, Ms. Webb and Ms. Days, that you were at least listening, but some recent things that came to light make me think that you're just waiting for that money for North County, and then you're going to give them whatever they want, and that is really disheartening.
Next speaker is Dorothy Steele, followed by Greg Hudson.
Hi, my name is Dorothy Steele. I'm from 63021. I am one of the healthcare workers that this woman ahead of me spoke about. I work at a local hospital. I have not missed any days during the pandemic because of illness. I am opposed to the vaccine and mask mandates that are being thrown upon us. I am in threat of losing my livelihood for something that is unfoundedly safe. If you all are fearful of the healthcare crisis that's currently in existence, just wait until October, when all of these people are going to be losing their jobs or quitting because they refuse to take a gene therapy. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people just like me in a group that are against this mandate. There are doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, occupational therapists, mammographers, you name it, we are all against this. And finally, I'm just asking and imploring if you all feel that mask mandate is a necessary thing for our community, I implore you to hire a subject matter expert. There are people called industrial hygienists that are experts on this matter. If you can hire someone to give us the information to prove that this is an effective way to fight this virus, then we may be more compliant, but you will not be able to do that because you are fearful to find out the truth.
Next speaker is Greg Hudson, followed by Chris Cray.
Greg Hudson, 63021. Good evening, members of the St. Louis County Council. My name is Greg Hudson, and I'm a healthcare administrator with one of the many St. Louis region's outstanding healthcare institutions. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening regarding my concerns around COVID-19 vaccination and testing mandates. As a healthcare administrator standing here this evening, I am most likely a minority amongst healthcare administrators in the St. Louis region, across the state and the nation. I'm very concerned about the impact that mandatory COVID-19 vaccination and testing policies are having on our healthcare delivery systems. In addition to the millions of Americans who already contracted COVID and have natural immunity, there was a lot of hope that the COVID-19 vaccines approved for emergency use authorization would bring the United States to herd immunity, as evidence is what's happened in Israel and other highly vaccinated countries, and is now becoming increasingly apparent in the United States. We're seeing firsthand that the vaccines may lessen the severity of COVID symptoms, but they do not reduce the chances of becoming infected, spreading the virus to other individuals, or even being hospitalized. In Israel, it is reported that well over 80% of the entire population has been fully vaccinated. With the appearance of the Delta variant in Israel, however, the vast majority of recent hospitalizations have been fully or partially vaccinated individuals. This phenomenon is now occurring in the United States. I've seen in my own health system's daily census vaccinated COVID positive inpatients, that percentage fluctuating between 20 and 50% on any given day. With the closure of schools in 2020, the healthcare industry was rocked by the loss of many of the clinical caregivers and support staff. In addition, the pandemic took a toll on workers in terms of worker burnout. When healthcare staffing levels around the country are already challenged, it is now the right time to mandate COVID-19 vaccinations and testing. These mandates are forcing us into a robbing Peter to pay Paul situation. COVID-19 vaccination and testing mandates are forcing many workers inside healthcare industry to decide between employment and their moral convictions. These mandates in time will lead to tens of thousands of healthcare workers leaving the field of healthcare and drive them into other industries or out of employment altogether. Not only will these COVID vaccination and testing mandates continue to reduce overall staffing availability, they're also creating hostile and discriminatory work environments. Healthcare systems, companies, and governing bodies nationwide are making decisions regarding these COVID-19 related mandates that have already started tearing at the cultural fabric of our local, state, and national healthcare, economic, and political institutions. I urge you to consider passing a moratorium against COVID-19 vaccination and testing mandates in St. Louis County before we wake up one day in the not too distant future, come to realize that the cure was worse than the disease, that our healthcare institutions cannot care for everyone coming through our doors because we have severe staffing shortages, and that what was once the United States of America is no longer a home we recognize. Thank you.
Next speaker is Chris Cray, followed by Yehuda Greenblatt.
Through these mandates, you and the St. Louis County Council have decided that our kids should go to school all day wearing muzzles. Sweat and dirt and spit-soaked muzzles. And I've listened to your arguments, and I've looked at some of your Facebook posts, and I have looked at some of the websites that you're associated with. And I've noticed that they're missing a few things, namely evidence, data, science, and logic. All this political posturing is pushed without any facts. So I'm here to help you with one critical fact that's critical to this conversation. Last year, 0.008% of kids died from COVID. That's less than the flu for the previous 18 months. This is not a problem for children. Yet we're willing to mask them up and expect them to somehow adjust. I saw a picture the day I read one of the councilwoman's posts. She called this a plague. When politicians use words like that, they're not to be taken seriously, right? It's an illness. Some kids get sick, but we don't govern by anecdotes. We govern by liberty. It's terrible if a child gets sick and dies from this, but that happens every day from bleach and swimming pools, but we don't mandate behaviors. We make suggestions, we give guidances, but we don't mandate behaviors that affect everybody. We don't know what these masks are going to do to these kids. The picture in the Post-Dispatch was kids walking around, and the teacher called it in a zombie line. This was somehow supposed to protect them, but they walk around school with masks on like this. Teachers wearing plastic shields. That's how cults behave. You separate people based on fear, and then they can't communicate. And I know this is not your intent. I don't believe it's your intent. But we are so irrational at this point about what's happening, and we have no idea how breathing through these sweat, spit, snot-soaked masks are going to affect their health. We won't know this for several years. And when it comes down to the fact that it might, there's no government person who's going to say, oh, you know what, we were wrong about that, because that never happens. When government takes away liberty, they never give it back. Now, currently today, anybody can get a vaccine, and they can wear 5 masks. Joe Biden recommended double masks. He said that behind a mask, I assume with a straight face. Anybody can do that. No one's here saying you shouldn't be able to do that. But to mandate it, to tell us that we have to, because of words like the plague, that's irrational, illogical, and it's tyrannical. But this doesn't seem to matter to the politicians, the ones who say that no matter what happens, we should do these mandates. It doesn't seem to matter. It's all political theater. I respect your positions. I respect your role, your God-ordained role as government, but I will not comply when you act outside of what your roles are defined as government officials. And I know that we won't comply. Thank you for your service, but we'll be back next week.
The final speaker is Yehuda Greenblatt.
I like to wonder why that Clancy, Dunaway, and Champagne are not here. So I'll give you my peace of mind that you are obviously, you know that you're on the wrong side of history, and we know that people who are on the wrong side of history, we know that they, when they pass on, they go to hell. So I'm very confident in saying about, and you're not even looking at the screens. You know you're wrong, and you know that you're going to suffer the consequences forever. So all the people who give in to the pressure, and all the people who are bought off, is it worth it for you to give in and sell your soul and impose tyranny on other people? That's your choice, but you have to know the consequences on a personal level. What's going to happen to you personally, because you know what the end game is, and you know that what the end game is: complete tyranny over the whole world. That's what the end game is, and I'm a hearing impaired person, and I cannot hear people when people are wearing masks. And every time I go to the store, I have a very hard time. And I just had a doctor appointment today, and for some reason it was a long appointment, and he was wearing a mask. I couldn't hear him. I kept saying what many times. I can't hear him. So you have to take other people's challenges and considerations. As far as I'm concerned, I'm probably the only person who's hearing impaired that has come up to here and spoke. But what about all of the other deaf people and hearing impaired people in the county? There are a few schools, a few deaf schools in the county here. So there's there's a significant population of people who are of the deaf community. They haven't come and said anything, or they haven't come over here probably because they feel too weak, or they feel discouraged. But I'm speaking on their behalf, and for that matter, I'm also speaking for all the kids. Have you gone to the schools? Have you gone to schools and asked the kids, do you want masks? They're all going to say no. They're all going to say no, but you never asked them. So it's not if you're concerned about people who are getting sick, well, everybody's responsible for their own health. I'm responsible for my health. You are not responsible for my health. You are not responsible for my health. And you three are not responsible for my health. You're responsible to get out of the picture and let us do our thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greenblatt. Okay, we will now hear from the county executive. No, it was not.
Good evening. Since 1999.
One second, sir. County executive, hold one minute, please. Sir, our rules require that we have 1 hour of public comment. Early on in the process, because there was such an outcry for this. Sir, these are rules that we have. These are rules that we have as a council. And we have had, we extended out of courtesy. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Council, County Executive.
Good evening. Since 1999, nearly 841,000 Americans have died due to an overdose. In 2020, more than 93,000 people died from drug overdoses. Tragically, overdose deaths continue to increase year after year and are now the leading cause of accidental death for Americans under the age of 44. Just today, our Department of Public Health shared with me that they are seeing an alarming increase in infants ingesting and dying from excess to drug materials. This is a public health crisis affecting all ages, all races, and all socioeconomic levels. There was a 29% increase in the opioid-related deaths in St. Louis County in 2020 from 2019. Of the utmost concern are the widening racial disparities, namely the 30.7% increase in opioid-related deaths of our Black residents. Within the next few weeks, our Department of Public Health will be meeting with the State Department of Mental Health, focusing on how to abate these spikes, specifically in our African American communities. To bring awareness to the crisis, I proclaim today, August 31, as International Overdose Awareness Day in St. Louis County. International Overdose Awareness Day is the world's largest annual campaign to bring an end to this crisis, to end the stigma around those who have died from this disease, and to acknowledge the grief experienced from the monumental loss of a loved one from an overdose. To honor those lives that have been lost, I encourage all county employees to wear purple today. Doing so is a small way to recognize and honor those who have been impacted by substance abuse, as well as their loved ones. It's a way for us to stand together to remember people who have lost their lives to overdose. Many of our employees participated and shared photos that can be found on our county social media pages. To learn more about the campaign, including how to donate or how to put on your own awareness event, go to overdoseday.com. While today is a day marked to bring awareness, we know that this impacts thousands of lives every single day. Honoring, remembering, and helping others who are struggling is something we can do any day of the year. In May, the state legislature approved a prescription drug monitoring program, joining the other 49 states with similar programs. Governor Parson signed the bill into law in June, and I was grateful to be at the bill signing ceremony. St. Louis County launched its own PDMP in April of 2017 in the absence of a statewide program. As a council member at the time, I helped lead the efforts to get this important legislation passed. As a doctor, I've seen the toll addiction can take on patients and their families. Since the county legislation was adopted, St. Louis County expanded our program to cover 85% of the Missouri population and 94% of healthcare providers. County officials have worked diligently to maintain a program that meets the needs of both healthcare providers and patients during the ongoing opioid crisis. The Department of Public Health is confident we will be able to hand over a robust and effective program to the state when that time comes. Meanwhile, the St. Louis County PDMP will continue to operate until a statewide program is available for use by healthcare providers. The focus of the St. Louis County PDMP is to provide physicians and pharmacists with information that will improve patient care, prevent potential substance use disorders or overdoses, and provide options for those who may already be struggling with substance use disorders. The Department of Public Health offers free Narcan at its 3 clinics. No ID is necessary. We know that Narcan can save lives, and we want to be accessible to the entire community. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to introduction of bills.
Bill number 251, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $58,962.72 from the Office of State Courts Administration, appropriating the same for support of the Family Court's Drug Court, and authorizing the Director of Operations of the Family Court to execute necessary documents. Bill number 252, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $323,718 from the Missouri Department of Social Services, Division of Youth Services, subject to a local match requirement, appropriating the same for support of the Family Court's Juvenile Court Diversion Program, and authorizing the Director of Operations of the Family Court to execute necessary documents. Bill number 253, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $37,785 from the Missouri Bar, appropriating the same for support of information technology for the Family Court, and authorizing the Director of Operations of the Family Court to execute necessary documents. Bill number 254, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute contracts and renewals with Philip Dennis and Grant J. Showstar for provision of public defender services for the St. Louis County Municipal Court. Bill number 255, introduced by Councilmember Harder, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to grant a permanent easement on, over, and under a tract of county-owned land located at Spirit of St. Louis Airport to the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District, and authorizing the county executive and director of aviation to execute necessary documents. Bill number 256, introduced by Councilmember Fitch, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance by changing the boundaries of the R1 1-acre residence district, the C8 planned commercial district, and the R2 15,000 square foot residence district of certain land as provided herein, PC 16-21, McBride-Barra Land Company, LLC. Bill number 257, introduced by Councilmember Fitch, an ordinance authorizing and giving preliminary approval to a planned environment unit development of a tract of land located in the R2 15,000 square foot residence district, subject to conditions, PC 17-21, McBride-Barra Land Company, LLC. Bill number 258, introduced by Councilmember Webb, an ordinance approving the application and preliminary plans as amended for the amended development in the C8 planned commercial district of a tract of land, subject to conditions, and repealing ordinance number 26,987, PC 15-21, Chantel Nixon Clark. Bill number 259, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4,376 by repealing and reenacting Section 2 pertaining to PC 47-67, Len Bar Corporation. Bill number 260, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance by changing the boundaries of the C2 shopping district and the R2 15,000 square foot residence district of certain land as provided herein, PC 12-21, Delenda Cooley. Bill number 261, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an amended collective bargaining agreement with the St. Louis County Police Association, Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 111, for police officers of the St. Louis County Police Department, and amending Title II, Chapter 201, St. Louis County Revised Ordinances, 1974, as amended Personnel General, by repealing and reenacting Section 201.190 pertaining to compensation of employees of the police department. Bill number 262, introduced by Councilmember Days, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a collective bargaining agreement with the St. Louis County Police Association, Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 111, for St. Louis County Commissioned police officers holding the rank of sergeant in the St. Louis County Police Department, and amending Title II, Chapter 201, St. Louis County Revised Ordinances, 1974, as amended, Personnel General, by repealing and reenacting Section 201.190 pertaining to compensation of employees of the police department. Madam Chair, that is all the bills.
Thank you very much. Moving on to perfection.
Bill number 20, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I move to drop this bill from the order of the agenda.
Bill number 20 is dropped.
Bill number 32, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
I move to hold Bill number 32.
Bill number 32 is held.
Bill number 75, introduced by Councilmember Dunaway.
I move to hold Bill number 75.
Bill number 75 is held.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 77, introduced by Councilmember Clancy.
I move to hold substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 77.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 77 is held.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 88, introduced by Councilmember Clancy.
I move to hold substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 88.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 88 is held.
Bill number 156, introduced by Councilmember Clancy.
I move to hold Bill number 156.
Bill number 156 is held.
Bill number 201, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to hold Bill number 201. Bill number 201 is held.
Bill number 228, introduced by Councilmember Webb.
I move to hold Bill number 228.
Bill number 228 is held.
Bill number 240, introduced by Councilmember Dunaway.
I am so grateful to this council for listening to St. Louis County's healthcare professionals, asking us to do what we can to help get them through this surge. Following the science that says masks and vaccines work to slow the spread of COVID, and supporting the public health order issued by our Department of Public Health. I wish everyone in St. Louis County wanted this pandemic to end, enough to use all the tools at our disposal to slow the spread of the disease, into the assault on our healthcare system, and save lives. The tools we have at our disposal include wearing a mask, getting a vaccine, limiting social interactions, and
Please
practicing.
be courteous. Thank you. Continue, Councilwoman Dunaway.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The tools we have include wearing a mask, getting a vaccine, limiting social interactions, and practicing good hygiene. I want this pandemic to end. And again, I thank this council for standing up for the tools science tells us will help us end this once and for all. And with that, I move to drop Bill number 240.
Bill number 240 is dropped.
Bill number 241, introduced by Councilmember Dunaway.
I move to drop Bill number 241.
Bill number 241 is dropped.
Bill number 242, introduced by Councilmember Dunaway.
I move to drop Bill number 242.
Bill number 242 is dropped.
Bill number 243, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 243. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 243 is perfected.
Bill number 244, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 244. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 244 is perfected.
Bill number 245, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 245. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 245 is perfected.
Bill number 246, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 246. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 246 is perfected.
Bill number 247, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 247. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 247 is perfected.
Bill number 248, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I move to perfect Bill number 248.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 248 is perfected.
Bill number 249, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 249. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 249 is perfected.
Bill number 250, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to perfect Bill number 250. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Bill number 250 is perfected. Moving on to final passage.
Bill number 320, introduced by Councilmember Clancy.
I move to hold Bill number 320.
Bill number 320 is held.
Bill number 14, introduced by Councilmembers Tracus, Days, Dunaway, Fitch, Walton Gray, Clancy, and Harder.
I move to hold Bill number 14.
Bill number 14 is held.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 76, introduced by Councilmembers Dunaway and Harder.
I move to hold substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 76.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 76 is held.
Bill number 204, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move to hold Bill number 204. Bill number 204 is held.
Bill number 229, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 229. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 229, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 229 is finally passed.
Bill number 230, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 230. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 230, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 230 is finally passed.
Bill number 231, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 231. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 231, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 231 is finally passed.
Bill number 232, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 232. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 232, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 232 is finally passed.
Bill number 233, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 233. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 233, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 233 is finally passed.
Bill number 234, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
I move for final passage of Bill 234.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 234, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 234 is finally passed.
Bill number 235, introduced by Councilmembers Dunaway, Webb, Tracus, and Harder.
I move for final passage of Bill number 235.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 235, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 235 is finally passed.
Bill number 236, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 236. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember excuse me.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 236, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 236 is finally passed.
Bill number 237, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 237. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 237, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 237 is finally passed.
Bill number 238, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of Bill number 238. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus. Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilmember Days.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on Bill number 238, there are 6 ayes and 1 absent.
Bill number 238 is finally passed.
Bill number 239, introduced by Councilmember Days. Madam Chair, we have a substitute bill.
Please read the substitute.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239, introduced by Councilmember Days, an emergency ordinance and providing for a temporary halt in residential evictions in St. Louis County in order to prevent the further spread of COVID-19 in the county and declaring an emergency.
Thank you very much. As you know, this bill earlier was to halt for evictions in St. Louis County. The Supreme Court ruled that the CDC did not have the authority to issue any kind of a mandate, mandate on the brain, any kind of declaration in terms of an eviction moratorium. And so this substitute takes out any reference to the CDC, and hopefully we will carry this on so that we can halt some of the evictions that are happening in St. Louis County. This only applies to us, and so I'm hoping I can get your support for that. So with that, I move for the adoption of substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239 is adopted. Now I would like to invoke Rule number 19 to suspend Rule 9 to take up substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239 on final passage. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239, introduced by Councilmember Days.
I move for final passage of substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 239. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, please.
Discussion, please. Councilman Fitch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be voting no on this. For the main reason is, well, first of all, there's a legal question that I have, many legal questions about this particular bill. So the Supreme Court has said, guess what, federal government, you can't do this. You can't have the CDC issue a rule that says that you cannot do evictions. So that's been asked and answered. So now the question comes back to us in local government, can we do it, is the question. And I think that's a legal question that has not been addressed. One of the things that, and maybe I'll direct this to the county councilor, Ms. Orwick, is since this is no longer a health type of bill because the CDC has been pulled out of it, does this then only apply to unincorporated St. Louis County and not the entire county?
think it's still a health-related bill, even though the CDC has been removed from it. It's still in the title. It talks about the spread of COVID-19. It talks about that throughout, and I believe because it is a health bill, it would be for the whole county.
Okay, so the last thing I saw was that St. Louis County received about $30 million in rental assistance, emergency rental assistance. And the last I saw, we'd only given out about 4 million of that, a little over 4 million of that. So there's tens of millions of dollars still sitting there waiting to be used, but we're going to force landlords again to take it on the chin because, who's going to pay their bills is my issue. So I will, and I understand the legal, what they want to do, I get it. They want to pass this. They know they're going to get sued. Will the federal government, since Merrick Garland asked us to pass this, will the federal government, number one, defend us? And number two, indemnify us if we have some sort of financial loss? Ms. Orwick, could you address that?
Those are questions that I'd be happy to talk to you separately. I do not give advice in public forums, as you know.
So since we can't get that, are we still going to vote on this tonight if we can't get that legal opinion and that legal advice? And I guess that's a question for...
That would be a question for me. Let's see if there's any other discussion.
Yes, Madam Chair.
1 second, Councilwoman Clancy. Councilwoman Webb, did you have something to say?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. So I just want clarification, Councilman Fitch. That renter assistance program, that is something not only the renter can apply for, but also the homeowner or the landowner can too. So out of that amount of millions of dollars still available, it's not just that the renters can apply for it, but the actual homeowners can apply for it as well. So it can go both ways, correct?
And I understand that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Councilman, are you finished with the question?
I understand that, but it takes the renter has to co-sign, has to go along with that. And that's been an issue with some of the landlords is they would like to apply for the money, but they can't get the person living there to cooperate. So that's been an issue with some of the landlords.
I know that we had, Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Webb.
Yes, ma'am. I know that we had a committee of the whole meeting, and we had some experts come in, and we even had some experts that's working with the rental assistance program to come in and tell how they will be willing to assist some of those homeowners, some of those commercial owners. Do we have a percentage? I'm sorry. Do we have a percentage of how many homeowners or landlords have applied and not gotten cooperation from their renters?
I don't have that number. That would be something we'd have to ask the Department of Human Services.
Okay.
I do not know. But I do have one more legal issue after the councilwoman's finished.
I'm finished. Thank you, Madam
Councilman Fitch.
Ms. Orwick, isn't there also Missouri statutes that apply here as well as far as moratoriums or not on evictions? State statutes.
I'm going to give you the same answer I gave before. If you have a legal question, I'm always available to answer them. I don't give, because of reasons of privilege, legal advice in public forums.
Madam Chair, I would just suggest that we have that discussion on these legal issues before we all vote as a council.
I would agree.
So we can have that opportunity to get that legal questions asked and answered.
Thank you. Councilman Harder.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Clancy, you're next after Councilman Harder, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too have concerns over this on the issues. One, on the legality of this, seeing that this has been kind of rushed through the federal system. And then also, I guess what I'm disappointed in is that the money that was given to us for these people, we've been sitting on it, and I hear we used a vendor that did not live up to their responsibilities of getting this out in a timely manner. And so we have a lot of people sitting on the sidelines waiting for this money or being evicted, waiting for this money. And I think that we need to ask those questions and get some answers from the Department of Health or from Human Services on why this money, which was given to us almost 6 months ago, has still not been given out in the level that it needs to be given out. So I have those questions about this as well.
Thank you. Councilwoman Clancy.
Yes, I want to call my colleagues' attention to a public dashboard that is available on the St. Louis County website that has been put together by our human services team and many folks who do data in St. Louis County. And the public can look at this as well, that details where we are relative to some of the spending for emergency rental assistance. Right now, we've distributed just about $8 million through the emergency rental assistance program, which represents just shy of 35%. That number is not as high as it needs to be, but our human services staff is working in collaboration with others across the region around the clock to get this money out, and I want folks to understand that. Currently, also, this dashboard will tell you that there are about 4,000 applications that have been reviewed to date. I am on a call every week talking with our human services team and others on this issue and monitoring it closely. The $8 million does represent the highest spend down of any county in the state related to emergency rental assistance. Again, it's not where it needs to be, but we are doing really well relative to everyone else. And additionally, the time has been shortened very significantly in terms of turnaround between application time and when the money is actually distributed. So I encourage you all, if you have detailed questions, reach out to Human Services. They are always very responsive, and check out the dashboard. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to support this tonight and know that it's very responsive to some immediate and pressing needs of our residents who are in crisis right now related to housing. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Well, let me just say, I'm taking into consideration all of your requests here. I too am very concerned that we have had 2 buckets of money, each $29 million, for ERAP, Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which includes the landlords as well as the renters themselves. This legislation, however you couch it, is concerning that I don't want people to have to be kicked out of their homes, even with the number of people that we have listed in the courts. I do hear your concerns. If there are legal questions that we need to have answered, I can hold this until next week to do that. But please keep in mind that this is a very short window of time that we're dealing with, and hopefully we can get a committee together, either Justice, Health, and Welfare or even a committee of the whole. We can try to get that in the near future so that on Tuesday we will be ready to move this. But I am very concerned that there are still people on the waiting list over in the courts ready to be evicted right now, and that they have not received any of these resources. But we really need to be very, very careful as to how we do that so that we don't have tent cities being encamped outside of our doors, outside of our communities. We want to make sure that we do not do that, because we do have resources to address that, and we need to utilize those resources as fast as we can. Councilman Fitch.
Madam Chair, thank you for agreeing to hold it. I would be fine with the county councilor giving us a written answer to the questions that I posed, the legal questions.
All right.
To avoid having to have a separate meeting in order to get the answers expedited, the legal questions.
Thank you. If that's amenable to all the other council members, we will do that. So at this particular point, I will hold on substitute bill number 1 for bill number 231, anticipating a very quick 239. What did I say? 239, sorry. And so that we can have a quick return on that information from your office, Beth Orwick, and we'll get that moving as quickly as possible. So thank you all for the discussion.
Madam Chair.
And we will move expeditiously to do that. With that, I hold substitute bill number 1 for bill number 239. Councilwoman Clancy.
Yes, I would like to ask you to consider holding a special meeting so that we can take action on this and not have to wait a week. Time is of the essence here. This is really, really important. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. Moving on to resolutions.
Madam Chair, we have no resolutions this evening.
Wow. All right. Any unfinished business?
Yes, ma'am. Item number 1.
Please hold on the order of business, and that will be the order.
Item number 2, 7th District.
Receive and file.
So ordered. Excuse me, do you want to hold that as well?
No,
Just to receive and file?
just receive and
Thank
file
you.
is fine.
Item number 3.
hold on the order of business, and that will apply to through motion item number 6 as well.
Moving on to new business, Madam Chair, we have 5 prepared orders this evening. The first order is in the matter of the request of the acting records manager for permission to destroy certain books, papers, and records of the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney.
I move for adoption of order number 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Order number 1 is adopted.
Prepared order number 2, Madam Chair, is in the matter of communication from Greg Tater, Director of Procurement, and Jennifer Keating, Acting Director of Administration, requesting authorization to dispose of certain personal property.
I move for adoption of order number 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Order number 2 is adopted.
Prepared order number 3, in the matter of donation of concrete pavers for use by the Department of Parks and Recreation.
I move for adoption of order number 3.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Order number 3 is adopted.
Prepared order number 4, in the matter of the Director of Revenue's request to transfer all interest in certain real estate bought by him as trustee at the collector's 2007 tax sale.
I move for adoption of order number 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Order number 4 is adopted.
And our final order this evening, order number 5, in the matter of the Director of Revenue's request to transfer all interest in certain real estate bought by him as trustee at the collector's 2010 tax sale.
I move for adoption of order number 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Order number 5 is adopted. Any other business to come before the council at this time?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Harder.
Thank you. I know your office was looking into asking the vendor, in this case, Fenton.com, to come to one of our meetings and to talk about their $2 million contract with the county. And I was wondering, I heard that they chose not to come upon your asking. I was wondering, are we going to reschedule that? Or are we going to ask them again to move forward to come here in person and talk to us about their contract with St. Louis County?
Councilman Harder, I'm not sure what to make of that at this particular point. This is a vendor who has a $2 million contract with us, and they have refused to come to us and explain to us what we're doing. I don't know what our options are. I will be checking with legal to see exactly what our options are. If you have a suggestion, I'm open to that.
Well, do we have, maybe ask legal, do we have any options to force a vendor to come to this council and talk about their contract with us?
I'm happy to discuss this with you after the meeting.
Do we have any association or ability to cancel contracts if we choose to on something like this, if they don't comply?
I'm very happy to discuss this with you after the meeting.
I believe there's some discrepancies with some of the information that we've received so far from the health department and what's been in the news. And I would encourage this council to try to get them back here in person so that we can address these things. So whatever I can do to help you or to anybody else, we need to have them back here soon.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Fitch.
If I could just add to that. So Fenton Communications is the $2 million contract that, among other things, said they would enhance the county executive's image in the community. They were using your tax dollars to do that. That's why, this council took up during our conversation when we were looking at how the CARES Act funds were spent. It came to light is how that all started. And we also have emails now as well from members of the county staff that initially said they weren't qualified because they weren't registered with the Missouri Secretary of State. So then the RFP was canceled. It was brought back. Fenton Communications ended up getting the contract instead of another vendor. There's enough there that we have to continue to look into this. And I know in the earlier part of the agenda, we talked about, or you mentioned about a committee of the whole for that. And I think it might be something that we need to have the ethics committee take a look at as well, since this does have to do with a county contract. So that's my take on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Harder.
Yes. Madam Chair, I have a question for the county executive. I'd like to find out where we are with the investigation on Dr. Khan, as well as find out if there's any new evidence and when you choose to bring that evidence to this council so that we can discuss it at that time. Do you have anything new to update us on?
I don't have any new information for you, Councilman, but I know that they were working on that report yesterday and today, and they should have it done soon.
Okay. And when you say we, who is that that's working on that by chance?
No, I didn't say we, Councilman. I said they.
Okay. Who's they?
Personnel. It's a personnel issue. And when it's done, I'll tell you what I can about the personnel issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion adjourned. Thank you all for coming.